Hello and welcome back to Citizen Speak. I'm your host, Garrett Martin. Thank you so much for listening. Let's talk about Donald Trump over the weekend at his rally that he was holding. There was a Black Lives Matter protester who had showed up, and what had happened is he had started saying Black Lives Matter, and some of the people who were there started chanting back at him saying all lives matter. And then Donald Trump, once he caught wind of it, he had turned to his group and he said, "Get this guy out of here." So what the people who were attending the rally for Donald Trump, they beat this guy down. And it's a big guy. He's not some little small fry. And they kicked him and they punched him until he was flat on the ground. And then they picked him up and they kept pushing him around. He got shoved down a couple more times. And then he ended up getting dragged out at the end. And, you know, I get the anger that people are feeling right now after the Paris attack and how the rest of the world seems to be going. And I get that Donald Trump has been inciting fear and anger into his supporters for a long time now. But come on, this guy is using his freedom of speech. I understand that he's in an area that doesn't want to hear his message. But that's what activists do. They go to the dangerous spots and they send their message out. And I get it. They have to be ready to be attacked in severe situations. But this guy is running for president, Donald Trump. And in an interview afterwards, he goes, "Yeah, I think that he should have been roughed up." Are you kidding me? This guy is running to be the president of the free world, and he's encouraging people to rough up Black Lives Matter supporters. Are you kidding me? You know, how would he react during the college protests during the Vietnam War? Would he have encouraged the National Guard to shoot those college students? I think he would. And a lot of people say that, oh, Donald Trump, he's not a real candidate. He's not going to actually do anything. Then why is he number one in the polls? Why has he been number one in the polls since he first started? Do you think that he's paying people to rig the polls for him? I highly doubt it. You know, those polls are mainly by people who have landline phones. And, hey, there's a bunch of people who are saying that they support Donald Trump. I don't get the appeal. You know, I don't get the mindset that we should have Muslims have a special badge and then wear an insignia on themselves to identify that they're Muslim. I don't get that. You know, that's how it started with the Jews and the gays in Germany, and then it escalated from there. And he wants to shut down all mosques just because there's a couple of extremists in a religion. Hey, by that means, why don't we shut down all churches? Would you guys be for that? You know, there's a heck of a lot more Christian terrorists here in America than there are Muslim terrorists. I'll tell you that. A lot more of the school shootings and mass shootings just in America in general are committed by Christians. And should we hold them to the same standard that Donald Trump wants to hold them? I know what the answer is. The answer is no, because this is America. We have freedom of religion, and we have separation of church and state. So for somebody who's running for president to call for a ban on all mosques or to have people of a certain religion wear insignias or have special IDs stating that they're a certain religion, you gotta be kidding me. How un-American. And then there's other people who are saying, well, he's not going to make it past the primaries. He'll drop out between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Absolutely not, he won't. Why would somebody go from being number one in the polls almost the entire time from when he entered into the race until when he would drop out? Why would he drop out? He's going to be number one until after the primaries. And honestly, he'll probably win the primaries, you know, unless there's a huge scandal that happens. And a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, Ted Cruz is just going to be in there and he's going to take up the scraps. No, he's not. You kidding me? Ted Cruz is below Marco Rubio, last I checked. And a lot of people would rather support Marco Rubio than Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is just as extreme as Donald Trump. He's calling for almost the exact same things. You know, he wants a religious freedom bill passed. You guys really know what that means? That means that his religion, Christianity, would actually be the ruling religion of the state. So we'd have prayer back in school. We'd have Bible study in school. And all other religions, get out. He doesn't care. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and people think that Donald Trump is just a passing fad. I don't think so. I really don't. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name is Garrett Martin. Thank you so much for listening today. And have a great day. Find me on Twitter also at SitSpeak. That's at CITZ Speak on Twitter. And thank you so much. You guys have a great rest of the day.